speaking about MVPs.
Yeah. How wild it was the prediction of Kate Langford saying
Not prediction, statement.
Yeah, it was a statement.
And he said there's no debate.
Yep. I mean, just read that Monaco is on the playoffs. That means the natural 05 is EuroLeague MVP. There's no debate. Barcelona is in the playoffs, or top 4 without with or without Mirotic, and people don't understand that non-traditional powers don't succeed in Europe. Hat tip to MJ.
Well, some of his...
So the statement: Mike James is the MVP of the EuroLeague, in or out?
Out, man. Mike James himself admits that Mirotic deserves it this year. We know that the quarterfinals still impact the MVP voting. So let's imagine that Mike James takes his team to the Final Four and Monaco beats, Olympiacos or Milan without a home court advantage. Then you have more arguments for him. And if he performs in the series the way he did during the last month, by the way, he's the MVP of March.
Yeah. He was just announced.
So you could start talking, especially if Mirotic has a bad series once again, like last year, when Mirotic was also the MVP after the regular season in everybody's eyes, but then the quarterfinals changed the narrative and Vasa Micic became the MVP. So right now, I don't agree with Keith Langford that Mike James is the MVP. I think Mirotic is the MVP, but I do agree with some of his arguments about the traditional powers in the EuroLeague, that Monaco, they're in the EuroLeague for the first time. Mike James silenced many doubters and critics and haters by his performance this season. People were talking for the past few years that Mike James is destructive, that he's bad for the team chemistry. Everybody remembers also the season in Milan, which was not good. He won the Alfonso Ford Award, but the team was not winning. And then Ettore Messina came and he said, I don't need him on my team. So people are still...
he has that label.
Yeah, people are still thinking about him as some sort of a cancer in the locker room, which he's not. He's a leader of this Monaco team. The last game they played in Milan, he was struggling, but he was making good decisions, playing for the team. And what he's doing this season amazingly, in my opinion, is driving to the paint and kicking the ball to the perimeter to his teammates. Sometimes he gets 10, 12, or even 13 assists in a game. So all this criticism on Mike James is unfair, but at the same time, I don't think he's the MVP of the season.
For example, if there was the 2 MVP awards, for example, the MVP award for the second half of the season, for sure it goes to Mike James, because he, Coach Obradovic, whole Monaco team, they turned the season like in 180 degrees. Mike James was great. He was finally delivering in the crucial moments, winning some important games for Monaco. His numbers were amazing. But the first part of the season for him was tough. And for example, I understand Keith and his MVP case for Mike James. He has his own perception of who the MVP is, and that's the problem. That's the, let's say, beauty and the problem of the MVP award, because there's no measurement for that award. We have our own opinion what should be the MVP, and for me, the MVP is being very efficient and dominating on consistent basis. I think the consistency tells a lot about the perfection, and I cannot find anybody better than Nicola Mirotic and the way he was playing this year. His numbers are just amazing. I mean, he's averaging 16.8 points, 5.2 rebounds, and 20 performance index rating in
just look
23
at his shooting
minutes.
percentages.
His shooting percentages are career higher, 67% 2-point shooting and 47% 3-point shooting. And
there are games where Sharas is basically saving him, playing limited minutes, and he still gets his numbers in 16 minutes. I remember a game in Berlin quite recently. He played only like 16 minutes, but he got all these numbers in 16 minutes.
And he got these numbers against big teams. For example, Real Madrid, 31 points, CSKA, 21, Olympiacos, 22, Zenit, 20, Milan, Fener, 18, Efes, 18. And his lowest scoring game was in Istanbul against Fenerbahce, where he scored 8 points, but he made the game winner.
Yeah.
So, if there was not Nicola Mirotic, maybe Mike James would be the best case for the MVP award.
Mike James was the MVP of last season's first part, before the conflict with Titoudis. Now he's the MVP of the second part of the season.
So maybe let's combine it.